Welcome. How's everybody out there right now?
Hey.
So, welcome to our second episode right here, guys. It's me this time that's drawing. And I wanted to give you guys a nice surprise when it comes to drawing pixel art. And what better way to do it than having to do with this guy right here, Skullman. So,
Agent Scully.
yeah, basically. So what we're gonna do first, guys, I have the cutout by like 1,000 by 1,000, but I had to make it a little bit big in order to do it. But what I like to do is I like to make this into like a really big spectrum to make sure that everything's all fine.
This is kind of interesting. The program he's using is Lip Sprite, and one thing that I noticed that's different compared to other drawing programs is you because it's pixel art, you automatically know like the scale of your pen stroke to the total size of the canvas because if he's set by 1,000 that and each block is 1. And that's what your pen thickness is basically set to. It's a lot easier to kind of get your line weights down.
Yeah, and usually what I like to do is I like to at least make this a little bit more broad. So like when I start with the first couple of like drawing parts, what I like to do is make the lines a little bit thick, and then afterwards, like when I start getting into more detail with the drawing, I like to make sure it looks fine by like cutting out some of the middleman, like cutting out some of the black ink to make sure like to get more kind of, I would say, detail. Because if it was all black, then it'd kind of be boring in a sense. I mean, like just no color.
Yeah, you wanna still be able to create some variety and have your character pop out on the page.
Yeah. So also one thing I really like to do is I like to see the outlines of like certain drawings. So like if I see like kind of a line that it goes towards, like it kind of gives this strange detail off. So when I see a line that I like to reference, sometimes it gets my detail, like kind of detail mindset going to make sure like, oh, this needs to be like this in order to like make it look, I'm not saying self-replicating, but just more like just what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, for those of us not familiar with this character, what series is Mr. Skullman from?
Skullman is actually from the Mega Man Anniversary series. Whoops. There's two kinds of Mega Man. It's Mega Man Anniversary series, which is like your typical Robot Masters with Wily, and then you have like Mega Man X. It's kind of more in the future in terms of references in that one. And Mega Man X, like what he does is that he's the future project of Thomas Light, and at this point, like Light is kind of like dead. Like he's kind of it's like his last project before he goes. And the thing is about him is that X is more advanced compared to regular Mega Man or Rock, because X can actually think on his own. Like he has emotions and stuff, and like Rock is kind of like his first project of kind of like the blueprints of Mega Man X, just how he wants him to be. I mean, they look similar looking, but obviously X has more of a technological advantage. But I'm getting off topic here. The character that I'm actually making is Skullman. Like I said, He's one of the robot masters that Mega Man Classic Edition fights.
So this is full on boss character. Now is he main boss or side boss?
He's one of the 8 robot masters.
Okay. It's pretty main boss.
Yeah, he's not X4. He's Mega Man 4. He actually is created by a different creator compared to certain other robot masters. Because like X is, or not X, I keep referring back to the X series. In the Anniversary Collection, the first game, the first Robot Masters were made by Dr. Light, which is the person that made Mega Man.
Not to be confused with the Dr. Light from Teen Titans.
No, that guy is a jobber. And
much more competent.
And Dr. Light is Santa Claus. Well, actually, I don't know about competence in terms of Dr. Light, but we'll I don't know. Dr. Light just seems kind of a bit of a klutz, even though he's a genius.
I know, for someone not having played the Mega Man's games really at all, that's kind of like the first thing my head goes to is, I'm Dr. Light, behold my light power, and lots of bravado and grandstanding.
I assure you that Dr. Light does not have that kind of bravado. He has, if you've
tons
ever
of light puns.
If you've ever heard Dr. Light talk, and this is the only implication, it's more like he sounds like Elmer Fudd. Like he sounds, well, no, it's the first instance of voice acting in English, so it kind of sounds really bad. But the whole premise is that like Dr. Light sounds like Elmer Fudd, and it's terrible. And
I can't even think of an Elmer Fudd impression.
He sounds like he has.
I'm hunting wabbits. All right,
he's like
Dr. Light.
He has he sounds like he has cotton balls in his mouth. He's like, well, we're fine.
Another one whites the dust. No.
You must find all the energy, Mega Man. Like that's literally how it is. Like he sounds so weird. And the thing is that he just, I don't know, man. He just sounds strange, and it's not. And I don't blame the English voice actor that tried to do it. It's because at the time, like English voice acting is just so convoluted and like really complicated because like, it's made by Capcom, so it's kind of like. The game is made by Capcom, which is a Japanese company, so I wouldn't expect. And I'm not saying that like Japanese companies can't put in like good voice acting, English voice acting. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that it's hard to find like good English voice actors at the time because of just how much time it would take to find those people. Yeah, it would be for the job and like just.
Yeah, I'm always impressed when like an anime or something from another country that has an American character or just someone trying to speak English and they actually go find a native speaker and the same kind of goes with other language. I always appreciate when anyone goes to get the native speaker of the language as opposed to trying to imitate it. Some people can be good at it, but it's very difficult. Although the imitations can wind up being pretty funny too. Yeah, and that winds up just creating a character in itself.
Right. Oh no, that's not good.
Let's see some more of your drawing there instead of the reference.
Yeah. Here. Well, if that's kind of strange.
So typically, do you like to do a more top-down approach, or do you kind of maybe shape it all out? It looks like you just got a good head outline here.
Usually what I like to do first, I like to get the head first. Sometimes, what I've been trying to do nowadays is that I've been trying to do more like body first, because it's kind of easier. Because I think the body sometimes can be really easy. I'm not saying really easy, but like it could be.
You can definitely break the body down into some simple shapes, and once you kind of can see, the basic pose or what direction it's turning, it makes fitting the head in place a lot simpler, and just kind of getting it proportionate.
Yeah.
I know. One of my kind of techniques is really just to break down the basic geometry and just kind of have your rectangle shoulders and then a different rectangle for your hips, and then circle to rest the head on top, and then you can triangle out some arms and legs, and then once that pose is out, you go back and you kind of resize the head and shape it, and then I like doing the kind of cross technique where you do a line down the center of the face, and then vertically and then horizontally to
right.
kind of indicate what's the focus point, and that helps you kind of see what direction they're looking at.
Yeah.
What's kind of your take on locating features for the face?
For the features, I see a lot of I would suppose like say geometry. Usually, like when I tackle like it's a facial feature, sometimes I see like the geometrical shape of the character. So like what I like to do is I like to make sure like it has like it looks geometrically sound, like it kind of has that kind of has the shape that I want, to make sure it actually replicates the drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that I can't go off kilter and actually do it. Actually do the drawing not correctly, but more so like.
It's just, there's a lot of different ways to try and get it to fit together. One of the newer techniques I've seen is for digital art is flipping drawings. You basically you kind of put everything where you think it's going to fit, and then you do just a horizontal mirror. So you're looking at everything, from a mirrored perspective, and what that can wind up showing you is that some pieces kind of look off kilter compared to how you drew them originally. It's weird that you wouldn't think that would have that much of an effect on it, especially faces.
Definitely.
Is what it seems like most of the result is in. But then you'll have something really lined out and good, and then you'll mirror it and go, holy cow, one eye is way lower than the other.
Right.
And because of the one perspective you drew it in, it doesn't look like that. But I guess if you were doing it on paper, you could hold it up to the light, upside down, and then
yeah,
that might be a way to pull that off.
It definitely would be a better way. I mean, like, one of my coworkers at work actually said that drawing the picture backwards kind of helps, like, the drawing. Like, I'm not saying like it's the best way, but I think it's. I mean, I take the advice with kind of a grain of salt, not because I don't think he's right, but more like just to see like, oh, like he likes to do it that way. So
how would you draw backwards? Do you
start with the feet?
You do the most detailed. Just go from full bottom to top.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I like thinking about the perspective of it, I'm like, wow, that actually is pretty interesting.
I feel like I would wind up drawing super wide or super narrow stances. Like they would never be well placed. Like these people would either have knock knees or they'd be totally pigeon-toed.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally get it.
Just setting up feet by itself, if the leg is already done, that's not even, like a gimme. Feet are weird, man.
Yeah, they are.
They got a weird shape to them.
Right.
Definitely. I don't know. Tough one to call. I'm kind of at a tear on least favorite body part to draw. The feet are definitely difficult, but a lot of times you can just avoid it by cutting off your drawing halfway and
I totally get
being
that.
super cheaty and figuring out ways to hide the feet.
I think it's the hands for me. It's just so irritating to make hands, and it's not because I think hands are bad, but I just think because like trying to make them is just so irritating for some reason. Like I think it's just because it's just not enough practice for me. I think
hands are a goofy one. They can be sort of symmetrical, if you're looking at them straight on or straight away, but any time you try to pose the hand and it's either curled or only certain fingers are sticking out, or it's resting on something, or holding something. Well, honestly, holding like when it's fully gripping something, that I actually find that easier than if it's like pointing, or pointing or resting are more difficult poses for me.
It's when you get into also like the dynamic posing is when it starts to get really tricky.
Yeah, I think the hardest one I've ever attempted is when the hand is like flat on something and the fingers are pointed, like all the fingers are pointed out towards you.
Right.
And so you have to draw this you have like the little bumps for the fingers, but then there's this ridge line in the back that's supposed to be the knuckles. Mm-hmm. You can't stand out too far because then it looks like you're creasing your hand.
Yeah.
It's super gooey because I'm doing all of these hand motions right now, and they're just looking so weird.
Yeah.
And me just trying to imitate it with my own hands.
I mean, I could totally get why it's so irritating, because like doing the hand motion in itself, along with like just trying to replicate it onto drawing could be very difficult because of just how your sound with the drawing itself, I guess, or I suppose. Because if you don't, then it's gonna look weird, like this. Like this is kind of weird, but I'm trying to get the boned nose.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
He's got a little plate on the front of his face that kind of covers his nose and mouth. It sticks out a little further. It really reminds me of like a cartoony mustache, like the Yosemite Sam mustache, where it covers your mouth, and then whenever they talk, all you see is the mustache move.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
I can totally picture it, because like the little bottom part like scrunches up and it's like, oh hey there, how's it going?
Yeah, just a scrunchy face.
That's one of those that I always enjoyed is how to get creative with facial hair and make it dynamic.
Right. Well, luckily for me, I don't have to do. Oh, actually, you want something? You want to know something, guys? I suck at hair.
Same.
I'm not really the best. I only recently started to do decent at hair, but even still, it's not the best.
It's not a gimme for sure.
It's mostly having to do with just like kind of. For me, it's mostly having to do with like if it's too much hair, or like just not enough detail with it.
Mm-hmm. Hair's a tough one to figure out. Okay, how much needs to be shown and how much needs to be not shown.
Right.
There's real thick parts of the hair, or where a lot of motion is going on that you might want to draw a lot of extra lines in, but other parts you want to leave it kind of blank, because if you fill it in, then it looks weird.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a tough one to replicate.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm okay at like one kind of hairstyle, and now I'm like I'm falling into the pattern of just drawing the same hairstyle.
Yeah, you want to be more dynamic though.
Yeah, that'd be a good exercise, is to just like have some pre-set up heads and be like, okay, draw long hair, draw short hair, draw medium.
Honestly, like
curly.
I think my favorite. I think think this is always going to be my favorite. I think my favorite hairstyle is always going to be like a ponytail. I don't know.
I have not. I don't think I've drawn a ponytail before. No. I haven't drawn a ponytail where you could actually see the ponytail. Like I've done the sneak move where the head's like facing, like the face is forward, and then the ponytail you can see a little bit like come out from the bottom of the head, and around like the neck, or maybe even one. I think I've done one where it like fell over the shoulder, but I've never done like the side view ponytail, where you can properly understand like this is a full on ponytail.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is with the ponytail is like I didn't technically, and I say technically, I did not do a ponytail, but I had the hair splayed out. I actually did a drawing of Justice from the Guilty Gear series. And I really liked it because of just how it was. I think it's just having to do the having to do the fact that I'm not saying I'm not familiar with the Guilty Gear series. I played it before, but like seeing Justice really just got me going with like this. I mean, honestly, Justice kind of rebuilt my passion of actually trying to draw like characters that I want to draw.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And I think it's because of just how grand. I'm not saying how grand she is, but more just how Daisuke, not really Daisuke, but more like just how he created these characters in the game of Guilty Gear, and how it's a really good inspiration as in terms of drawing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of Daisuke, I really do appreciate just how much work and effort he put in alone into the series of Guilty Gear, because of just his work and how he's always so adamant on making, whether it be like oh, that's weird, that's strange.
What you got?
There we go. Oh no, I had kind of an error. Yeah, Live Sprite is pretty. It's kind of wonky, but it just depends on how it wants to feel.
You can have that moment in any program where you miss key once and you don't really realize what you did, and then you're trying to go back and you're like, oh no, I changed a setting, and
it's definitely what happened.
You panic and accidentally delete everything.
It actually happened on our outro.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of had to do something about it. Like sometimes, like when I was doing something, need to make this blocky. There we go. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes you have to make the eye into like an apple slice kind of look. But yeah, the first thing I'm probably gonna do is the eye to make sure it.
Yeah, he's definitely got a sharp angle on him.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna close in.
There we go. Staring right into your soul.
Yeah, kind of. And then
one thing I've always found is you can do all the outlines of the eye that you want. Once you drop the pupil in, then you really kind of you can't really tell where they're looking until you draw the people in, and then once that's there, you're like, oh wow, we're looking in two different directions, or one of these is wildly misshapen.
Yeah, I mean, right now the reference that I'm trying to do is not really on point, but
it's just cool though. Even though it's really small, part, compared to his whole face, you can still add a lot of detail into it by layering the colors on top. That's something I have no experience with, is that kind of color theory. And
yeah, it usually has to come with like just trying to figure it out. It's kind of like trial and error. Yeah.
I'm going for the cat eye.
Yeah. Actually, what I can do
yeah. Little drop-in geometry.
Yep.
One ellipse, please.
I mean, we could technically count this as cheating, but I mean, hey, like, there are no rules.
Welcome to Geometry Burger. May I take your order?
May I take your... Yes, can I get a...
I'd like one trapezoid and a side order of triangle.
Yeah. Can I get a circle in there too?
And I'm feeling parallelogram today, but I don't want a rhombus. Oh,
right.
Would you be interested in a square, perhaps? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Square sounds good.
Yeah, it does. Here, I think I might have messed up a bit. I think the eye's a little bit too big. That is okay. We can fix it. Sorry.
That's the beauty of drawing digitally, is that you can back out of it and not have to worry about smearing with your eraser.
I think the eye is closer to the part right here.
It does look like it's a little tied in.
Here we go. And what I actually like to do is sometimes when you do stuff like this, it's better to kind of make the outline of the eye kind of darker. So like what I like to do is I like to put certain parts to be dark.
Oh, I see.
Instead of using straight up black, what I like to do is
so there's not a hard outline. It's kind of gradients into the pupil.
Also, I like to mess with like colors when it comes to.
Yeah, you can wind up getting some interesting combinations when you really start putting them on top of each other.
And instead of going with the whole mustard yellow, I think we can go with a more golden yellow.
Jazz it up a little. He's got a fiery eye. He's a determined character.
Well, he's kind of an edgy character, if you ask me.
Edgy and focused.
I mean, his name is Skullman, for God's sake.
Skullman is a very edgy name. If you wanted to kick off your emo career, Skullman is not the worst starting point.
Yeah, like if you look up Shadow the Hedgehog, he'd be right up his alley.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That is a very Shadow the Hedgehog type of name.
I mean, I just, no offense to the Sonic community, I don't mean it. I'm just saying, like,
feel the power.
Like, no, it's like when Shadow always like says in Shadow the Hedgehog, he's like, "Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?" He doesn't always say it, but it's such a dumb line, but it's so funny. It's like, "Where's that damn, for Chaos Emerald. He says it like with so much like
I'm so serious compared to the rest of you.
And then there was one line with where he's gonna take down Eggman, he's gonna kill him, and he's like, you're going straight to hell. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there, Shadow.
Holy
like,
cow, it's a Sonic game.
I know, like that's why.
I'm taking you to hell.
Like, you're going straight to hell. And the thing is, once you beat Eggman in that in that fight, like he's gonna kill him. But then, like, the funniest thing is that it doesn't even look like he killed him. He just karate chops him in the head, and it's just like, what? Like,
yeah, just a real terrible finish. And you're like, you were gonna send him to hell. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you would just blow him up or something.
One karate chop is not enough. Finish him.
Yeah, exactly. Do what Mortal Kombat does. Finish him.
I like that Sonic tries to go like PG-13. It's just
my God, like it's just so. It was such a bad time to try to be a Sonic fan. No offense to the people that are Sonic fans.
Struggle is real.
Okay, so no, that is not right.
I see you're not going for the mirror technique on the eyes.
No. It's mostly because of how Skullman's left eye compared to his right. I think the right eye has more like dimension compared to the other one. The other one looks like it has it's kind of slanted in a sense. It's kind of like it's a Guyver picture that I did before, and the thing is that it was fine, but the thing is like I wanted to make the eye on the other side look like it was kind of like looking, I'm not saying in the other direction, but like kind of there, but like not really like that big. So, I mean, I'm going to still do actually first I'm going to put the thing right there. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make that eye a little bit smaller compared to
kind of looks like he's winking at you.
Not really winking, more like just, oh, okay, never mind. That's weird.
Hey, Mega Man, come over here. Got something cool to show you. Wink.
No.
Trying to come up with a good skull pun.
No. You'll get the Undertale community started.
Oh yeah. Man, that was something that took off for a hot minute and then it was kind of gone.
I still think the Undertale community is still there. I just don't think it's like as prominent anymore, maybe.
Yeah, just not like the hit new thing.
Well, that's actually Friday Night Funkin'.
That one has gotten quite popular.
Yeah. This head needs to go.
And really goofy too for how long rhythm games and especially arrow-based rhythm games have been around. For that one to blow up is kind of funny.
Yeah. I think it's because just how many people have really... I mean, I have to admit, Newgrounds did a really good job with the series, like, trying to be interesting about it. Like, there are also some mods that, like, are definitely decent in that instance.
Yep, and it's got a little bit more to it than just pick from the song list, you know?
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe where oh god, I lost my train of thought.
That's a good vibe, man.
No, but like usually what intrigues me about it is the fact that like so many people put so much time into it. And ouch, sorry. Sometimes people put a lot of time into it, and like the results definitely come out better than they should. Like other times, like people are like saying like, "Oh, this is cringy," and I could understand it, but at the same time, like a lot of thought gets put into it, and it's just a rhythm game. Like to see like a rhythm game really do good like that, it's just, I'm not saying it's surprising, but it's more like the people that are in the community that put a lot of effort into it. Like they definitely have like what it takes to make certain games like into a story.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you have a lot of support from a fan base. That kind of stands behind your product.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I wish that was the case for like other game series, because there's so many other series that don't have that much like faith, I guess, or support. And it's mostly because of just how, like, I guess the series slighted them, or like how the developers of the series like kind of like gave up on it. So people get really discouraged when it comes to certain series. I wouldn't say the Mega Man series is kind of like that, but it's definitely kind of like dormant in a sense. Only Mega Man 11 came out. That was kind of recent when it comes to Mega Man games. We haven't really seen any more Mega Man X games though, so that's kind of depressing. Because I really like the Mega Man X series. Like, I think it's really interesting.
You know, it's, I guess you can, like one of the things I would immediately think from the Mega Man series is how popular 2D side scrollers. But if you look at the Friday Night Funkin' example that we just talked about, it's, you can take those old platforms and really make them cool again.
Yeah, and it's mostly I've seen it in recent with Shovel Knight. Like, Shovel Knight as a platformer is really good. Like, honestly, like if you've ever played if you ever want to play like a new platformer, or like some kind of like really good platformer, I'd suggest Shovel Knight, because it's a really fun game.
Super creative. Like,
it's silly, it's fun. It actually has really good music. I'd say like it has like some damn good music, because of just how not say cartoony, but more like just how much fun it is to play in the game.
Makes it real engaging.
Yes. And the thing is about it is just how much fun you'd have in the game. Like, just it's not even like something you can take really seriously. And the serious parts of the story, it has them, but at the same time, it's not like, it's so lighthearted because of how it treats itself. It's not like, oh, like we're trying for a really serious story.
And it's not a game that's just gonna beat you down by killing you all the time.
Oh no, it's not like a Ninja Gaiden or like
Well, I was thinking of Cuphead.
Oh yeah, well, Cuphead has its own reasons why it's like that. Like, people like Cuphead for a completely different reason. It's because of the whole, I feel like it's a kind of a Dark Souls kind of feeling.
Cartoony
that people like
Dark
it.
Souls.
Well, no, I wouldn't say cartoony Dark Souls.
Dark Souls Disney.
Because Dark Souls isn't like that. Like, it's not I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a platform like that, but it's definitely kind of like an old school like difficulty in terms of Cuphead, because of how because of how it's made. Like, I would say it's kind of like a different breed of kind of playing, and it just depends on like how people interpret like what is difficult and what isn't. With Cuphead, I'd say it is difficult because of how it's made, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's like difficult in that sense of Dark Souls. I would say like it has its own, like every game has kind of its own difficulty. Like when it comes to
you can make it as hard as you want, even by putting artificial limits on yourself.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, and there's games that just have that built-in difficulty variety, like in Uncharted, where you can play it in just a straight story mode and not have to worry about any of the fights, or you can you can make it just crushing and die after one shot if that's just the part of the game you want. Enjoy.
Yeah, and the thing is that like, I mean, you can make a lot of games difficult like by yourself with like the difficulty settings, but at the same time, like sometimes there are certain games that are definitely difficult on its own, like for just how it is, instead of like how it would be.
And then you can just put your own limits, like, oh, I'm only going to use the basic weapon that you start with.
Oh, funny thing you said that, actually. Usually, like, when I play Mega Man X, I don't usually get a challenge sometimes. So, like, what I do is, like, I mean, no offense to everybody that doesn't know how to play those games, but, usually what I like to do is, instead of using the weaknesses that the Mavericks need, I like to go at it like with just the X Buster to see how much more difficult it can be. And it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that difficult compared to like using the actual weaknesses of the Mavericks, but it's not. I mean, it's not bad.
It just means you have to be more consistent with, their patterns and how to dodge everything.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is also like, you have to take in consideration that I've also had like a lot of practice with the game. So like, there are a lot of people that say like, oh, like how are you so good at this game? It's so hard. And it's the fact that it's not that everybody is good at that game and you suck. It's more like this person has had more practice with this game. Like I said, I've played this game since I was a kid, but if you actually knew me as a kid, I sucked at Mega Man X. And the only reason why also is because I was on a keyboard. Playing a keyboard on a platformer is hell. Yeah, it is terrible.
I could see that being tough.
It's just so difficult.
Yeah, but I totally get, like, everyone's got that one game that they just poured all their hours in, all their childhood hours into.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I may not be good at many of these things, but I'm the best at Cooking Mama.
Or like Brain Age or something,
or Hot Wheels Game Boy, or
yeah,
just whatever was that one game that you had that you could just never stop playing on car trips. And
yeah, usually when it came to like mobile gaming, or not mobile gaming, but like whether it be like a DS or something like that.
I know we kind of got a mobile gaming comeback now with the Switch and the Steam Deck that's coming out.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Well, and then I'm about to say mobile gaming was on a hiatus, but I totally forgot about the whole 3DS run too. So it's like it really doesn't die out. But I do remember a time where everyone had kind of shifted to like when smartphones were new, that was kind of all anybody was using, and the apps that were games for the smartphone,
right,
were just the biggest thing ever.
Right.
Everybody played Doodle Jump and Temple Run and
yeah, definitely,
all that good stuff. But now it's coming back around to the handheld consoles. So
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw like a lapse in like popularity when it came to video game console or mobile game consoles. When it came to like the 3DS, no offense, the 3DS kind of was like it was okay, but it wasn't like hitting it off like the DS was. And the thing about it, the DS was just it was such a new, I wouldn't say a new concept, but like just new graphics and new, just new stuff at the time. Like newer graphics and stuff, just kind of hitting it off with a bang.
Well, and the DS allowed for some new names to kind of or titles to take off, and like games that really took advantage of the stylus or the dual screen format.
Yeah. I will admit, I am very upset that they don't have like as much as popularity as like certain other things do. Like people kind of forget about like the older handhelds, like the Game Boy Advance, kind of because of. Well, I'm not saying it never dies, but I'm saying like it doesn't get as much notoriety as it does anymore because it's just it's an old console, so I wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah, and you know, even for the amount of games that it produced, it's just. It's all, you know, the newest generation that's not the first thing that they're exposed to.
So. Oh no, it's like, oh hey, look, the newest console. Like, oh, I really like the Xbox. Oh, I like the PlayStation 5. Like, oh, like.
I mean, definitely for me, I didn't start like spending time on enjoying the older consoles as opposed to the latest ones until, you know. Maybe like 12 or 30, like several years into my life of gaming.
Right.
That I was like, oh yeah, this older stuff has fun things too. And just, I had never thought about that before.
I've always been kind of an old school gamer. Like, I've always liked like older school games when it came to like SNES or NES games. I was never into the Sega stuff, mostly because I never really had like a Genesis. But I definitely been into like like the N64, like I said, the SNES. I actually did have a funny thing. I actually did have a Sega Genesis, but I didn't play it that much. Mostly because of just how it is. Like just it only came like programmed with like certain games on there.
Yeah.
And it was very depressing because it was only like I said, like certain games. So
yeah, you were just fixed into what was on the console.
And it was usually just Sonic, and no offense to Sonic, but I just don't think it was like No, look, I like Sonic. It's good, but I just wasn't into it that much.
I think I've only ever owned one Sonic game, and it was like the Sonic collection for PS2.
Yeah.
And the game that I played the most was the Sonic Pinball.
Really?
Yeah, I've never actually played through like a full Sonic. I've never beaten like Green Hill Zone 1, but the Sonic Pinball game I was awesome at. That was a good time.
Oh, I bet. I mean, here's the deal with me. Like, I actually played a lot of. I did not play a lot of Sonic 1 because I just wasn't good at it. Like, it was just kind of like killing me to say it. Like, I wish I was better at Sonic, but at that time, like I said, I was a kid, so I was like, it kind of sucked. But I did have a kick out of like a Sonic spin-off. And it was called Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and it was a.
I remember hearing about that.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that Dr. Robotnik like sends all these bots at you, and the thing about it is that like you have to fight your way level through level in order to get to him. And the thing is that he's really, like, when you get to him, he's really killer. Like, he's really tough. And unfortunately, I still wasn't good enough to get to him. and I died like a lot on level 4 because level 4 is like usually when it gets really serious. And then like I got to a pinnacle at that point as a kid. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore.
I've felt that.
And then I took a crack at it back later, like when I actually lost in level 6. Now that I thought about it, like when I was like a little bit older, and I was like, shit, I hate this. And then I finally beat that guy, and then afterwards it just kind of went as a blur, and I started beating everyone else after level 6 because level 6 felt like it had like a difficulty spike or something. And
Give him a little widow's peak, reverse widow's peak.
No, it's not really that, but it's more like just kind of trying to make him more detailed. It's just very irritating, but it can be done.
Yeah. Shadings coming along.
Yeah. It's probably, I mean, honestly, this is probably all I'm probably going to do tonight because of just how long this would take.
Oh yeah, these drawings go through quite a bit more process than goofy Link fan art.
Yeah. I mean, this still is goofy as hell, but I mean, it's not, I mean, I'm trying to make it like really good.
And you guys will be impressed at what winds up turning out. Jordan does a really great job with these.
Sometimes they look kind of similar, other times they don't. But that's also because I like to make it into a different design in a sense. If I can't do it, like if I'm not skilled enough to like replicate it entirely, I'll try to do it like my own spin on it.
Yeah, pull some creative leeway.
Yeah,
a little poetic license.
Definitely. And I think I just had an awakening.
That's a great excuse when you can't quite, nobody's the artist that created it, so you're like, oh man, that looks a little off. Like, no, this is my own interpretation.
Yeah, exactly. You play it off as I meant to do that instead of a
right. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night here.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll definitely make some headway next time.
This is a part 1 of Mr. Skullman.
Yeah, Skullman will definitely be completed sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the practice room.
Yeah, I appreciate all you guys for supporting, and if you want to support us, just like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys later in the next episode, all right?
Bye.
See you guys later.